Hey, what is up, you awesome people? Clunky here, and today I'm super happy because I found the very best build in the entire world for balanced Druid in a patch 11.2 Ghosts of Karish, the War Within. So, in this guide video, okay, I'm going to talk about the stats first, the very best stats that you absolutely need for balanced Druid to deal as much damage as possible. Then I'm going to jump straight into the talents. I'm going to talk a little bit about the PvP talents, and then we're going to jump straight into the full burst rotation. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to deal rank 1 type of damage. So let's jump straight into the stats first. Alright, so the first very most important stat that you need is around 20% versatility. Why? Because it's a sweet spot for most characters right now in World of Warcraft. And then the second stat that you're going to need for balanced Druid is going to be haste. Haste makes it so that your dots tick faster, you gain more astral power, your global cooldowns feel way better pressed, and overall that's one of the best stats right now for this build. Okay, so and then the last one that you need some but don't need to focus entirely on is going to be mastery, because mastery is kind of important right now for balanced Druid. All right, it increases your damage tremendously during your big incarnate window. And yeah, the last stat that you absolutely don't need is going to be critical strike. Why? Super easy. Because your critical strike actually comes from balance of all things. Entering Eclipse now increases your critical strike chance with all of your damage spells by 20%. Okay, but it decreases by 2% every 1 second. So meaning every time you go into Eclipse, which is part of your rotation, and every time you press your big cooldown, which is Incarnation, you gain insane freaking critical strike. And we're playing with Moonkin Aura. That PvP talent actually increases your critical strike chance again furthermore. So, you see where this is going? You don't need critical strike at all. As for the moment, okay, I don't have the full tier set. I only have like 2 pieces. I'm running with the Helm tier set. I'm running with the craftable necklace with haste and versatility. Okay, I'm running with the tier set shoulders, Karish cape with mastery, because I don't want to go too far into haste, because if you go too far, you get a penalty, right? So I'm investing some points into mastery as well to increase my damage. And that's what all the top players are doing right now. And as for the chest, I'm running with the Astral Gladiator's leather vest. As for the rests, I'm running with the World PvP rests, right? With, again, mastery. As for the gloves, I'm running with the Astral Gladiator's leather gloves with, again, mastery. I don't want to go too far into haste and lose potential damage. I'm running with the Honor Haste belt. As for the legs, I'm running with the Astral Warmonger's breeches with haste and versatility. As for the feet, I'm running with Astral Warmonger's boots with haste and versatility. And as for the rings, both Algari craftable rings with haste and mastery. Okay, haste and mastery, super important. And as, yeah, exactly. And with enchanted with curse mastery, it literally takes some critical strike and converts it into mastery. As for the trinkets, I'm running with the Astral Aspirant's insignia of alacrity, which automatically procs. It's better than the 1 minute unused trinket. And as, yeah, again, not running with adaptation, we're running with the Astral Aspirant's medallion, right? And as for the weapon, right, super important, we're running with mastery weapon, mastery offhand. And as for your enchant on your weapon, insanely important, we are running with stone-bound artistry. Alright, so let's talk about the best talents possible for balanced Druid right now. So, all the pro players are playing this, by the way, and I'm gonna go straight to the point. Right, so the main source of your damage comes from Force of Nature and your Incarnation, which you have 2 charges of. So the whole goal is going to be dotting up your targets, and then you're gonna be pressing Force of Nature into your big Chosen of Elune, and then you have like 8 seconds to deal as much damage as possible, and then your damage is going to fall down by 30%. So while your 3 ants are alive is where you're dealing that fatty fat ass damage. With that being said, again, I don't need to explain again. During that time period, you're going to benefit from balance of all things. Again, entering Eclipse increases your damage by a shit ton. So during the first 5-7 seconds of your burst, this is where you're going to be one-shotting stuff. As for the passives that are right here, okay, I'm going to explain it in a super simple way, guys. Essentially, we're running this passive right here, Potent Enchantments, and Control of the Dream. What it does, essentially, it reduces the cooldown of your Incarnation when you do the rotation well, which I'm going to explain you very, very shortly, okay? So, as for the left side of the tree, we are playing with Heart of the Wild. Why? Because it got buffed tremendously. Nowadays, when you press Heart of the Wild, you can actually live through a lot of damage. So, we're back using that. We're also back using In-Cap Roar. You can always switch it to Mighty Bash, but I feel like In-Cap Roar is pretty good since it got buffed. Meaning that nowadays your dot damage is not gonna break the effect instantly like what it used to. Alright, so the moment you guys were waiting for, I'm gonna show you guys exactly the full burst rotation. But keep in mind, I've installed an add-on which shows the spells that I'm pressing in real time, so it's going to be super easy for you guys to follow along. So big W for that add-on. So as a balance druid, you need to dot as many targets as possible. That's a no-brainer, okay? And what you need to do, you're gonna need to actually go into Eclipse once, all right? So this is pre-building, by the way. Then you dump every astral power you have, and then you're going into your full burst rotation that is happening right here on the screen. Wrath 3 times, and you're back spamming that Starfall like... Watch this damage, 24 million DPS, guys. And then what's going to happen? What's going to happen is we're gonna wait 20 seconds to get our Force of Nature back again. All right. And this is where we're gonna be using our second charge of Incarnation. Very important. If you don't do that, you're gonna miss out on a ton of damage, guys. Ton of damage. So we're gonna wait 7 seconds. And then when we're back again, 3 seconds, dump every astral power possible. And then when we're ready, again, Incarnation, we dump our, like, every ounce of astral power right here. We're dumping everything, right? So again, we could burst again with another charge in 12 seconds, which I'm not gonna do, but so on and so forth. This is how you're supposed to be playing with this build right here. All right, so Starfall hitting for 3.6 million. And by the way, guys, this build, okay, if you want to deal single target damage instead of AoE damage, instead of pressing Starfall like what I just did, you press Star Surge. That's literally it, all right? So Starfall being like 53% of our total damage, 3.6 million damage, absolutely crazy. By the way, that was 24 million DPS. This is doable in PvP. Moonfire dot damage, 332k. Sunfire, again, super hard hitting, because every time you enter Eclipse, your dots start doing a shitload of damage. So this is very important that before actually bursting, you go into Eclipse first. If it's not possible, it's not possible, but if you can, please go into Eclipse before bursting. Shooting Stars actually creating for 400 to 1 million. Pretty good. Dream Burst hitting for 2.7 million. Wrath hitting for 2 million. Crashing Star and so on and so forth. Like, it's crazy, guys. Unhealable damage. Unless a freaking Mistweaver presses Revival, the whole enemy team is going to melt down instantly with that burst. Alright, so it's pretty much it for this guide video. I'm gonna make sure to drop the build code down in the description and into the comment section with some macros in there. And make sure you hit the subscribe and the bell button to not miss out on the new videos, because if you don't hit the bell button, YouTube won't show you my videos. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'm now gonna go and drop some star files on people. See you next video, gentlemen. Stay awesome.